Well, the U.S. House of Representatives has passed a landmark $95 billion aid package that will provide aid for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan. The first is set to provide $60.84 billion to Ukraine, of which $23 billion will be used to renew U.S. weapons infrastructure for the embattled country. Well, the second one will provide Israel with $26 billion in military aid as it finds itself in an increasingly hostile West Asia. And the third and the final bill is meant for the Asia Pacific, where a large chunk of the allotted $8.12 billion will go towards containing Chinese aggression and protecting Taiwan. The House passed the bill with broad bipartisan support on Saturday, with a united front from Democrats, but a divided camp for the Republicans, with objections from Republican hardliners. The legislation now proceeds to the Democratic majority Senate, which will likely consider the bill on Tuesday and potentially pass it sometime next week. Upon its passing, the bill will finally be signed into a law by U.S. President Joe Biden. And the next report gets you the complete story.
Some U.S. lawmakers cheered and waved Ukrainian flags as the House of Representatives passed a part of a $95 billion legislative package Saturday. The measure, which the House passed in its entirety, provides security assistance to the war-torn country, as well as Israel and Taiwan, over bitter objections from Republican hardliners. The legislation now proceeds to the Democratic majority Senate, which passed a similar measure 2 months ago and is expected to pass this bill next week, sending it to President Joe Biden, who released a statement saying he will sign it into law. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked House Speaker Mike Johnson for the more than $60 billion of aid coming his way, saying it would protect lives and bring a just end to the war that Russian President Vladimir Putin must lose. Johnson, a Republican, agreed with that sentiment.
Three of our primary adversaries, Russia and Iran and China, are working together, and they're being aggressors around the globe. If we turn our backs right now, the consequences could be devastating. So this afternoon, the House acted, and we sent over to the Senate, and it will be transmitted shortly, our supplemental national security legislation.
The vote on passage of the Ukraine funding was 311 to 112, with a majority of Republicans opposing it, including far-right Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has taken steps that threaten to remove Johnson from office over this issue.
I do not support Mike Johnson. He's already a lame duck. If we had the vote today in our conference, he would not be Speaker today.
While Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said the measure would further ruin Ukraine and result in more deaths in the conflict.